Have you ever tried to eat healthier in order to lose weight? Or maybe you've cut out carbs because somebody told you that they're bad for you. Well, that's actually the number one mistake busy dads can do in order to lose weight. Because after helping over 100 men transform their body and health, if you don't have a roadmap, then you're just guessing. So today is day 2 of my fat loss journey, and I'm going to share with you the exact nutrition system that I use to help busy dads get healthier for their families, to lose weight, to build permanent lifestyle habits. And the best part is, it'll guarantee results even with your busy and chaotic schedule. Okay, I want to start this video by going over the actual roadmap that I'm going to build. Okay, so each video throughout this series, I'm going to be working on different parts and showing you the insides of what I'm actually doing. So today, I really want to dive into the system of the nutrition, right? What foods am I eating? Why is it so important? How do I actually structure all of these things? Hey, what's up, legends? Thanks for watching the video so far. Now, if you're a busy dad and you want to get back in shape, you want to get healthier for your family, again, make sure to like and subscribe for more. At the same time, if you want some honest feedback based off of where you're at, then below is a link to my free health assessment for you. All right? You'll get a personalized video to give some feedback based off of what you're doing nutritionally for your exercise so that you can get back to your best and be that energized superhero dad that you want to be for your family. Now, the important part here is that we need a roadmap. See, what ends up happening is for a lot of dads, they end up doing two things. One, or actually three. One is you do some sort of extreme diet, like you fast for 3 days, or you do some intermittent fasting. And sorry, on a side note, just in a mall here while I'm filming this, so sorry if there's a little bit of background noise. Now, number two is you decide, you know what, I'm just going to eat healthier. I'm going to just make some small changes, and you know what, that should do the trick. Or number three is they do too much exercise and they do a bunch of hours of a ton of cardio and don't really care about their nutrition. Alongside of that too, um, what ends up happening is maybe you start counting calories and you actually fuel or count calories or macros, but you're not too worried about like the structure. It's just, you know what, this is my calorie goal, I'm gonna hit it. And once I hit that, it doesn't matter what's inside of it. I could be eating McDonald's, but as long as I eat 2,000 calories, I'm in a deficit, it's gonna work. Now, the main problems with that is that it's not sustainable. Regardless of some of the things that you've done in the past, it's not sustainable because at the end of the day, if it worked, you would have kept the weight up, right? So what tends to happen is all of these fat loss things, whether it's Weight Watchers, whether it's Ozempic, whether it's different programs that you may have tried in the past, what tends to happen is that you don't actually learn how to keep weight off. See, you can do anything to lose the weight, but it doesn't matter if you lose weight in 30 days, 90 days, 6 months. If it ends up coming back, what's the point of doing it in the first place, right? So this is why the system that I've created, I call it the Dad Fuel Formula, and it takes care of all those different holes that was in previous things that you might have done. Okay, so what I'm doing again, I'm using the same systems and structures that my clients use, that I preach and I teach, and I'm using it on myself to be able to lose the 20 pounds in the next 90 days. Okay, so here is the system. All right, I'm going to start off very simple and then get a little bit granular or dive deeper into things. However, so if you're somebody that's like, Michael, I just need something stupid simple, all right, cool, we're gonna take care of that. But at the same time, if you're somebody who likes to understand a little bit more, you want to understand a little bit more the nutrition, you can understand that too. Okay? So on the surface level, this is the system, all right? Using the Dad Fuel formula, I use a very easy hand portioning system. Now, the reason why this is important because number one, you need to track your food in some sort of manner, right? Again, it doesn't have to be calories, it doesn't have to be macros, but you need to track because if you're not mindful, if you don't have data around what you're doing, you're going to end up losing or falling off track, right? Here's a couple examples. Number one is we need a roadmap. We need a full structure of how we're doing things. Take it if you're an entrepreneur or you're in business, right? You need to make X amount of sales, right? In order to hit the deadline, in order to make, let's say, 10 sales, you're going to reverse engineer how you do that. You're going to do a certain amount of reach outs every single day. You're going to do a certain amount of tasks, right? To make sure that on a daily basis, you're hitting your targets, right? And you're very clear about the tasks that you're doing. Now, what ends up happening is imagine if you said, all right, I'm just going to eat healthier. That's like saying, all right, I need to make this goal in sales. I'm just going to work hard. It's too general. It doesn't actually break things down. Now, maybe you're a project manager, right? Maybe you're managing multiple people, right? And you have this deadline for the project. It's similar to say, you know what, guys, just do your work. Go ahead. That's not actually a structured plan. Usually you have written out procedures. Usually you have written out plans that you want your team members to work on in order to hit your goal, right? So again, we need the same thing with our health and fitness. We need to have systems. We need to have structures. We need to have things planned out specifically with this and also data in order to make sure that we hit our goal. Because the most important here is the result. The result to hit it and then be able to keep it off permanently. Right? When we start getting into the guessing game or like, you know what, I'm just going to eat healthier, that doesn't actually get the result that we want. Okay? So again, here is a system. All right? It's a super easy hand portioning system with the size of your hand. So we're going to be tracking your protein, your veggies, cupped hand of carbs, and also fats. All right? And so each one, you're just going to approximate. All right? Palm size of protein. Let's say a 3-ounce burger patty, right? That's going to be it. You have a steak. Have steak the size of this. Thickness of your palm, right? Same thing, veggies. Fistful, around a cup of veggies. Cup tan of carbs. Cup tan is around half a cup to 3/4 of a cup. And a thumb of fats is simply the tablespoon or also what's that called? It's a few nuts essentially. All right. Now the reason why this is so effective is because one, you're always going to have your hand with you. So whether you're at a birthday party, whether you're at a family member, at your parents, right? Maybe you're just at home, you're at a restaurant. You're always going to have your hand with you, so you can allocate for those things. So that excuse of whether you're traveling, that goes away, right? That excuse of, you know what, I just had to grab something while I was on the go. All right, yeah, you can grab something, but you can still portion things out the way that you want. Okay, and it keeps it super simple so that you don't have to weigh anything at all. Now, if you're somebody and you wanted to just take this and go right at this video, all you'd have to do is, as a simple rule, 6 portions of protein, 6 portions of veggies, 5 portions of carbs, and 6 portions of fats. All right. So if you were to stop this video, if you had to take one thing away, just follow those portions for a week, you'd lose weight. All right. Now, I want to take that to another level. All right. Now, it's super important to understand as well, like the quality of your foods, the types of foods that you're going to be eating is super important. And that's where I get into a couple of the structures. Okay. Biggest thing when you're following this, you want to have or think about high energy nutrition. Now, if you don't know what high energy nutrition is, it simply is having single ingredient foods, and sticking to that 90% of the time. Okay? And the last one is you want to make sure that you're getting a minimum of 3 meals a day. Simply by applying these things, under high energy nutrition, not only is your energy going to skyrocket, not only are you losing fat, but it's going to help you maximize those results. Okay? So, for example, when we think about this, it makes the tracking super simple. So, here in this example, we're using steak, right? Steak size of your palm, simple. If it's sliced up, just kind of group them together. If it's the size of your palm, good.
put your hand against the plate. Simple enough. All right. Fistful of veggies. Right. What's around a cup of veggies? Put your fist beside it. There you go. Cup 10 of carbs. And then we think about a thumb of fat. So whether it's some nuts, whether it's a tablespoon of olive oil, a tablespoon of dressing. So when we think about this, the single ingredient foods is super important because those are the easiest to track. At the same time, that's what should be taking up 90% of your meals. So you shouldn't be having um, certain processed foods like crackers and chips, etc. Because honestly, that's a little bit harder to track. Or when we think about things like, I've always gotten the question about like hummus, how do we incorporate that? Um, is that something that I can have? Cheeses, another thing that you can have. Now, when it comes to those questions about whether I should be having cheese, I should be having hummus, those aren't necessarily bad foods. Their cheeses are good for you. At the same time, though, when we think about maximizing this fat loss phase, we want to keep things as single ingredient foods. Okay, so again, clean sources of protein, meat, chicken, beef, pork, etc. Veggies, eating the rainbow, having as many veggies as you want. All right. Quick side note: corn and peas are going to count as carbs, and beans as well. Okay. Cup 10, again, making sure beans, berries, fruit, etc. Those are going to be super important. And lastly, for our fats, it's making sure that we're having olive oil, nuts, um, and also just if you have any dressings, right? Again, those can be a tablespoon. So that's why we want to keep your selection very limited, not in a way to kind of limit or restrict you, but to make it easier on yourself. Now, when it comes to this, there's a very important um, principle, and it's called the paradox of choice. See, the paradox of choice states that the more choices that you have, it actually limits your freedom. Okay? So, what we want to do is to help you be more disciplined, to help you be more consistent, to help you maximize your fat loss. The more consistent you can be with your foods is going to be the best results. So, what you'll see later on is I'm literally having the same foods every single day, and I'm choosing foods that I know I can consistently have. So when we think about this structure, this is how it's going to break down. So again, we have these portions, and the reason why it works is because we're following this something that I call the HPHF principle. Okay, and that is high protein, high fiber. Okay. Now, what you'll notice is that it's high in protein, but also low in fat. And if you didn't know, high protein, high fiber, low fat is the best method of fat loss when it comes to your nutrition. All right? You only need enough fats in order to keep your hormones regulated, and then the rest are carbohydrates. And the reason why is because carbs are good for you, okay? Um, good. There's a big misconception when you think about this that carbs are bad. Oh, you should stop eating carbs. You shouldn't. You should cut them out, right? And maybe you've done that in the past. You've cut out all the carbs because you've heard that intermittent fasting or fasting, all these things really help you. You're in ketosis, etc., etc. The reality is, if you look at the individuals who are the best at fat loss, right? Bodybuilders. Now, majority of bodybuilders, they're following this principle: high protein, high fiber, low in fat. Right? It helps keep you full. It helps give you the most amount of energy, and also it's more enjoyable. Right? You can still have carbs. You can have rice, potatoes, etc. Those are going to be super important in order to get the result that you want. Okay? And just so that you can understand, the reason why carbs are so good is because one, carbs are more filling than fat, and also carbs are the main source of energy. Right? I don't know if you've ever tried, but take away carbs from your diet for a little bit, you're gonna feel a little bit more sluggish. You're not gonna have the same energy. Put some in, especially again healthy carbs, clean sources, whether it's rice, potatoes, quinoa, grains, etc. Those are going to help keep you full and you're going to be energized. So that's kind of the background into some of the structures that I have inside of here. All right. And again, if you, to bring this all back, you want to stick to clean sources of foods, single ingredient foods. That's going to help you maximize your fat loss. Number two, in terms of portions, right? If you had this, simply just follow this, all right? Um, it works for 95%. Okay, so simply if you just follow this, you'll get amazing results. And lastly, um, make sure that you are consistent with your foods, right? Make sure that you're structuring it in a way that is suitable for yourself. So just to give you an example, this is what it would look like for me on a daily basis, all right? So I have mine, make sure I'm eating a minimum of 3 meals a day. And for me, just customize to where I'm at, what I'm having is 7 portions of protein, 6 portions of veggies, 6 portions of carbs, and 5 portions of fats. All right. So again, this is customized to me, right? So these are some of the things I'm having. Breakfast, usually I'm having a smoothie. Snack, I'm having a scoop of protein, berries. Lunch, I'm having 2 palm sizes of lean ground beef. Rice, essentially a salad with some Caesar dressing. And dinner, I'm having some chicken, rice, beans, and that's really it. All right, making sure that I'm seasoning everything, and that allows me to maximize my fat loss. So if uh, hopefully this has been valuable to you. At the same time, if you want something more customized, all right, this is something that I do inside of my coaching program. And especially if you're a dad, you don't want to have to think about things. You already have a lot of things on your plate, and you want to just be able to have this health and fitness thing on autopilot. For some dads, it's super helpful, something that they want. You're open to having a coach, then just drop down. There's a link in the description. You and I will simply just have a conversation. I honestly and genuinely just want to get to know you more. And from there, if you like everything with the plan, then you can decide if coaching is something that you want to move forward with. So that's really everything that I'm having. Okay, I'm trying to have this as consistently as possible when you think about on a daily basis, and I adapt. Okay, so just like at work, just like in your daily basis, right? Because you have kids, you want to be able to adapt on the fly. So if like today, you'll see it in a bit. I end up having my meals uh, later on in the day. Right? I have it at 11. So I end up just waiting throughout that, right? It wasn't something that happened, it just happened by accident. And so I just waited till I could eat. Now, again, I'm not intermittent fasting or anything like that. I just didn't prep well enough for it. So again, I just had to adapt. So that is essentially my blueprint for fat loss. Again, this is what I use for busy dads, and it's helped so many dads. I'll put a couple examples just on here on the screen. Get the results that you want. Okay. So that's everything when it comes to the fat loss blueprint. That's some background into it. And let's get into the rest of the video where I go into the idea.
Okay, so gonna go over the meals for day 2 here. All right, number 1, I had some lean ground beef with some spaghetti. It was in like a light Alfredo sauce. Now, wife packed that, and if you have a wife, you know that you have to eat it. So, just got home here. It is around 1 p.m. and this is the second thing I'm gonna have. So I'm gonna hard boil some eggs. Gonna mix it in with some chicken and as well some bread. So, key things here is that I know part of my plan, it shared rice or potatoes. Quite honestly, just got home. I want something a little bit more convenient. Feeling too lazy to simply make rice. So that's how I'm going to make the chicken. It's just going to be a very easy chicken salad with the hard-boiled eggs. Going to mix it all in and then going to have it with some bread. So key thing here is that I'm just going to portion things out with the bread. Not gonna go overboard in terms of big slices, etc. Just gonna keep it fairly light and then go with that. At the same time, I'm getting a ton of protein in. So simply that.